Hello everyone, very good afternoon to all of you. Welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep. Welcome to XAT 2023 decision making. Now, this subject is quite scary for most people and for no reason. It's one of those, subjects which are actually very, very easy. Now, why do I say that? It involves a lot of common sense. Even I can do it. It doesn't require any previous knowledge in most cases. Earlier, they used to give some number-based decision making where you had to really calculate and do all that. And thankfully, they started thinking of people like me and gave mostly logic-based decision making. So let me just tell you a little bit on the theory of decision making. What does it involve? A problem is given to you. Okay, so the key to good decision making skills is to identify the problem and have a problem statement. What is the situation given to me? What is the problem? Second one is, who are the players? Who are the stakeholders in these problems? What does the problem involve? Normally involves two parties. Good morning or afternoon, Roshan. Okay, good afternoon. It's a little beyond noon, so. So one is the problem situation. Good afternoon, Varun. Second, who are the players? And then, if this is the problem, I have to come up with a situation. Thank you, Roshan. Good to see you too. Good to interact with you too. Good afternoon, Amrit. So, problem is there. Players are there. Now I have to come up with a solution to the problem. As far as possible, come up with a solution which is win-win. Now, everything else depends on the question. So he will say, which is the best possible strategy for player A? Then you have to look at a situation which is good for player A. Which is the best solution for player B? Then you have to change your strategy. But as far as general decision making is concerned, what is the problem? What are the options? Who are the players? Which option would suit both players the best? This is what we are looking at. Having said that, if you've seen the decision making of XAT 2022, some of the answers frankly were bizarre. I mean, when we sat for the exam, when I took the exam, I used all logic and I came out and I said, Pakka, I'll get no mistakes in DM. But then that was stupid of me. You do make a lot of problems. Varun, Nikita was not keeping well, which is why she's on leave. So she will come very soon. That's why I'm stepping in for her for the few classes which were assigned to her. Let's wish her a speedy recovery when she'll come and start taking her classes again. Hopefully by next week. Yeah, she had fever and other health issues. Yeah. All right. Okay, let's look at the first case and I will prove my point to you that in most cases decision making is very easy. Some cases it's a little difficult. What makes it more difficult is the XAT's bizarre answer. So you have to just say a silent prayer to God about that. All right, let's look at the case. Okay, please read it yourself. I'm reading it aloud. Vimla is the domestic help for Shreya and her neighbor Padma. Both live in a posh gated community. Vimla not only cleans the house but also cooks for both families. Shreya treasures Vimla ever since she joined her family 4 years ago. Vimla joined Padma's household this year. So this is the situation. You have a domestic help, Vimla. Then, okay, let me change the pen color. I don't like using red. I think because there were a lot of red marks on my answer paper that I don't like the color red for markers. So Vimla is the domestic help. Then for Shreya and Padma. Vimla has been working in Shreya's house for many years, 4 years. She has just joined Padma's household. Second, one evening Shreya was trying to pay the pizza delivery and was surprised to find, now this as you know, this caselet had been given in that way back before the Paytm and Google Pay days. So one evening Shreya was trying to pay the pizza delivery and was surprised to find a few 500 rupee notes missing from her purse that she was sure were there earlier. So some notes were missing. She wants to ascertain if somebody has stolen the money. On reflecting, the following facts cross her mind. What are they? Look at the options and remember them carefully. In the last 1 year, Shreya had noticed cash missing on 3 occasions. Shreya's husband also shared that a few notes were missing in his wallet, though he was not sure if they were stolen. Her eldest son has been pestering Shreya for more pocket money for the last 3 weeks, and in the last few days he had stopped doing so. In the last 1 year, Vimla had received 6 mails from her family asking for money. Her eldest son's expenditure had gone up in the last few days. So these are the options. Last 1 year, cash has been missing on 3 occasions. Husband also has reported missing cash. Eldest son asking for more money and stopped suddenly. Mails from family asking for more money, and eldest son's expenditure has gone up in the last few days. Okay, now what's the question asking us? Which of the following combinations in the above statements would decrease the likelihood that Vimla has stolen the money? So, she's suspecting Vimla, but which one shows it might have been others? And decrease the likelihood. Which options? I'll show you the options again. You look at the options and say which one shows Vimla didn't take the money. Then you mark the options, okay? Alright, I'll give you 30 seconds for this. Or maybe 15 seconds. No, the options, just read all the options. Think of more than one option, yeah. Alright? Options that are given to you are A and C, A and D, A and E, B and D, C and D. So two options at one time. Could it be A, cash missing on 3 occasions? Not sure who it is, right? Second, husband also said cash is missing. Well, could have gone anywhere. Eldest son might have taken. Eldest son might have taken. Mail from relatives, they can't, find out where the money is. So obviously it's C and E. Obviously it is E. No brainer, you'll tell me. Well, okay. Next question. Padma, now that other lady who had employed Vimla, Shreya's friend, Shreya's neighbor, who had employed Vimla in the last few months, she discovered some money missing from her purse. She suspects that Vimla has stolen it. She wants to prevent this from happening again and is thinking, what are the possible options or actions I can take? Okay, so either they'll ask you increasing order, decreasing order. So you just look at the option before we look at the question. She should let it pass since to err is human. She should confront Vimla and tell her that she knows the truth and the act is unpardonable regardless of her past service, and she's thinking of terminating her services. She should tell Vimla that she's aware that someone has stolen the money from the house, but she's not sure who. She should share with Vimla that neighbors think Vimla has stolen the money, but she doesn't think so. But she is interested in finding out the truth. She should directly ask Vimla if she stole the money, promising her no punishment if she confesses. Right? 1, ignore it. 2, confront and terminate her services. 3, tell her, look, money is missing, but I don't know who's taken it. 4, neighbors think you've taken it. I don't think you've taken it. 5, directly ask her, did you take it? If you take it, tell me, I won't punish you. Clear? What's the question asking us? Arrange the following combinations of the above actions in the decreasing order of appropriateness. Most appropriate to least appropriate. I always get confused between this increasing and decreasing. So I have to tell myself, decreasing order of appropriateness, most, less, less, less. Okay, most appropriate to least appropriate. Decreasing order of appropriateness. Do you want me to show you the options again? Right? Okay, I'm showing you obviously you won't remember. But remember, they were in lots of 3, so arrange all 5 and then we'll go back to the options. Decreasing option of appropriateness. So look at which is the most appropriate, because often in options that would give you the key. Only based on one option you can get the entire thing right, okay? Decreasing order of appropriateness. Remember, the most appropriate is to confront a person and tell, did you steal it? Rather than saying neighbors are stealing it. Neighbors are saying, I don't believe it. Okay. Now, look at C. C is somebody has stolen, not sure who you are not going to find out. And she doesn't want that to be repeated. So how is C a correct option? I mean, appropriate option. The most appropriate option is E, remember. Confront, either, see, if she hasn't taken it, here it says confront, tell her she knows the truth. Here you are not giving that lady a chance. But in E, you are confronting her, you are asking her, listen, did you take it? Tell me if you've done it or not. So E has to be the correct first one. Alright, so there's only one option that is starting with E. Now how is B appropriate? When you don't want it repeated, it is total intolerance to any kind of theft. Say, look, the money is gone, okay, but how is B appropriate? That other person, you don't even know if the other person is guilty or not. So telling her she knows the truth and the act is unpardonable is actually unfair. So that particular year, we were very, so with this, because she doesn't want the act to go unpunished, she doesn't want it to be repeated, so A is not appropriate. Neighbors think, though I don't, is very vague. If you don't, then why are you asking me? Right? So D is not an action. But actually, if you look at it, only E is appropriate, even B is not. Okay? But since E is appropriate, we will say, okay, E, B, D. The others have not been given as more or less appropriate. So you can take this is 80% appropriate, B and D are 0% appropriate. Still, this is decreasing order of appropriateness. Therefore, the key here is only the first option, the first of the letters. If we had another option, another answer starting with E, we would have been in trouble. Got it? So this is EBD. So B and D are totally inappropriate. Then the answers, question setter will say yes. That's why I said decreasing order of appropriateness. I did not say how appropriate or how less appropriate. Got it? B, you don't tolerate theft of any kind. Whether you did it or not, I don't care. You go. Okay, which is like condemning a person, assuming that that person is guilty, which is not a fair practice. So only E, if you ask me, is appropriate. All others are inappropriate. Forget the order of appropriateness. This is the kind of dilemma you will face in XAT. Yes, Amrit, all decision-making questions are subjective. And when we use common sense and answer questions, 70% accuracy we have. Last year I've given the easiest of last year's decision making. I told Srinivas, when we have the last lap, please choose the other ones which were very, very subjective. I mean, very difficult. Those were questions we left. We didn't even attempt them, but some questions were easy. Okay. No. Only decision making is only XAT. Now, that's a unique question type for XAT. CAT doesn't ask any decision making questions. It does in the GDPI rounds, okay, where sometimes a caselet or a case study is given, where you are supposed to come to a decision and explain why, but not otherwise. All right. Sometimes it asks an ethical dilemma question and what decision would you take, what role play kind, but not in a written test. All right. Let's read the next case. Okay. First read it yourself, then I'll read it for you. All right. So when you are reading this, Remember always to have the main points of the case at your fingertips. So you have to, as you read, repeat it in your head, in your own words, so that you know the case, you don't have to refer back to it 10 times. You will when it's order of options, but not the case itself. Genius Consulting is a boutique consulting firm started by Shirish, Balram, Rahman and Xavier, 4 friends from a premier business school. They committed themselves to 2 principles: not to indulge in anything unethical and sharing earnings equally. Genius Consulting could not get a significant project till the following year when they managed to get a big one after Rahman's father referred their firm to his top management. Convinced of the team's talent, following an impressive presentation, the top management awarded them the project even though 6 other referred teams made presentations. The day following the presentation, they met to decide the way forward for the organization. Now there are 4 points that you need to remember. 4 friends from B school started this. Do nothing unethical. Whatever we earn, share it equally. One of the person's father referred it to his top management. They made a presentation. Presentation was very impressive, and based on that, they got the project. There were 6 other referred teams. Now the key is this. The day following the presentation, they met to decide the way forward for the organization. Which of the following choices would be appropriate for this genius consulting started by these 4 geniuses? Read through the options and give me your answers. I'm not going to read it because students say when I read the options, there's something in the way I pause that gives the game away. So I'm not going to read it aloud. Varun, on what principles are you making that decision? What are the factors you're taking into account? You can key in your answers as soon as you all have made up your minds. Varun, on what basis? I would ask you, why would you choose this option? What would you say? Don't do anything unethical, share earnings equally. Correct? What is the point of paying finder's fee this year and deducting the amount next year? What's the point? Right? What is the point? If I give you the money, I give it to you. Otherwise, but I'll cut it from you from next year. I mean, what's the point? Right? So that's where E is not the best option. Ashwin says, so violating the principle happens in taking the project or not the project. If you think reference or referrals are a violation of ethics. So the problem here, none of you followed the process, so we don't have the time. The problem here is because Rahman's father referred the company to his top management. Is that an unethical practice? Now remember the last part which said that the other 6 teams were also referred, right? So now all the teams competing have come through reference. So if you don't consider reference to be unethical, right? So reference is not unethical. Then A is out. The project doesn't violate the principle, right? Violation of the first principle has not happened. You only look at is. Now among C, D and E, they should take up the project, yes, but they got the project through Rahman's referral. So the question is, should he be entitled to finder's fee or not? That is where the dilemma is. That is where all of us, E doesn't make sense. So between C and D is the This is the problem you will always face in the exam also. So now is where you consider this is where the subjectivity that Amrit pointed out comes in. Is Rahman entitled to the referral fee or not? That's the whole question. The problem finally comes to that. If reference is not unethical, all 6 teams came through reference, so there's no point of, somebody being discriminated against. So there itself we got the ethics part of it out of the way. Now should Rahman be given, so referral fee is not considered as part of your earnings. No, you are referring a project to the company. So is that part of your earnings? Earnings of a company comes as what? This is a little bit of commerce knowledge. Whatever you earn through a project, whatever they earn, that is shared equally. So if reference is not part of the earnings, then reference can be paid. No, a finder's fee can be paid. No, they got the project because of him. They survived because of him. That is the finder's fee. Earnings is what you get through implementation of the project. That you cover. So that dilemma was where the thought went in. Okay, then the answer is D. It's all common sense. In hindsight, the whole answer looks easy, but in the exam, you just like, should this. That is where you are alone in front of the computer board or the paper, in my case, when this exam happened, where you're wondering, is this? So that is where you take a call, right? Okay. This is a good one, but again, here again, a lot of subjectivity. Today, entire thing is subjective. The decision making process itself is subjective, but remember the rules. Identify the problem, easiest, that is the thing to do. Rephrase it if you want, put it into a statement. Identify the players, objective, and then come up with a solution which is true to that principle. Here our thing was whether it involved ethics, the project involved ethics, reference involved ethics. Second is finder's fee, part of the earnings. These are the 2 questions you need to look at, right? Okay, next one. Don't look at the punctuation of this. Yes, you have to paraphrase the problem and identify the problem statement if you can. This should be comma, this should be full stop, and this should have a capital T. Okay, so we have the Biswases want to build a house in Kerala. Children are in Bangalore. That's why stay away from children, stay in Kerala. They gathered information about owning a house in Kerala. Okay, since it's not a Kerala surname, which is why. Otherwise, if you're from Kerala, you want to stay in Kerala. I do. I'm not from Kerala though. I love the place. If I could transport the weather of Bangalore to Kerala, nothing like it. All right. So these are the options. All right, read the options, then we'll look at the question. Buy a fully furnished house from a big developer. Buy a semi-furnished house from a big developer and then furnish it. Get a local unregistered contractor to construct a house and furnish it. Mr. Biswa, now do not use your earlier knowledge of the way labor and contractors work in Kerala. That won't help you with this. I tried to do that and became a little too smart in the process. Mr. Biswas wants inputs from the family so he could supervise the construction of a house back in Kerala by employing the best material engineers, masons, and laborers. All right, these are the 4 options. Which option would ensure the best control of quality of construction for the Biswases? The best control of quality, which option? Okay, first, second, third, or fourth, or all. All right, so let's go back to the options. Best quality, which one do you think? Which of these houses have the best quality in your view? What are you going to look at? Let me just get a piece of pen. 1 second, just give me a second. Okay. All right. Easy. You're getting the best of everything. Then supervision is from your family. Right? So obviously it will be D. All right. No brainer. We were very happy with this. All right. Next question. Which of the additional information, if true, would improve the chances of the third option being preferred? What was the third option? The third option was getting a local unregistered contractor, right? So he is asking, with this additional information that is given to you, all right, which of the following additional information, if true, would improve the chances of the third option being preferred? Based on the current information, with no additional information, third option is best. Give it to an unregistered contractor. That's the third option. Among local property holders, the contractor in the third option enjoys a good reputation. This is the additional information he's giving you. Big developers are less open to changes in design. Biswas can't stay back alone to supervise the construction. He wants to select the furniture on his own. Based on this, which one makes the third option the best? Give me the question. Oh, question number I haven't given. I think this would be, we'll call it question 6 or 7, I think. Correct? No, I don't know which question this is. Let me see your answers. Some are going with A, B. Third option is give it to a local contractor. Okay. Now, why did we not? If you say A, some of you said A. If A is correct, then your answer to your first question is also wrong, which is the best thing, and you are saying that it was the best quality you will get from D. Right? If you're getting best quality from D, then without any additional information, third option can't be the best. Right? So A goes out because of that. Then you would say, okay, if he enjoys a good reputation, that's all. You need to know something about the contractor. So if he has a good reputation, that will make it the best. We are only looking at third option. Just because second option doesn't work, doesn't make third option the best. The big developers are not open to changes in design. He prefers to make his own furniture or get his own furniture. Doesn't make it good. Okay. So answer is B. All right. Okay, good. Okay, this is an interesting, very interesting one. All right. Read the passage. A pastor had eaten at a restaurant. A priest in a church is called a pastor. A person who counsels families, religious counselor for a particular region is also called a pastor, had eaten at a restaurant with his troop of 10 and his family. It's a norm to tip the waiter, and about 20% of a waiter's salary comes from these tips. However, while paying the bill, the pastor crossed out the automatic 18% tip charge for parties of more than 8 and wrote, "I give God 10%. Why do you get 18%?" above his signature. The chagrined waiter, the upset waiter at the restaurant, posted a photo of this. So she took a picture and she posted it on the social media. She was subsequently fired for violating the company's policy on customer privacy. This would have been understandable if the restaurant had not. So customer privacy is sacrosanct. It would have been okay if the waitress's termination of services would have been okay if the restaurant had not spotted that just 2 weeks ago a customer receipt that was complimenting them was posted. Negative, she has posted this pastor's thing on the receipt. She posted on social media, hey, how could you infringe customer privacy? But the same restaurant had posted a receipt where a customer had complimented them. So social media and social activists came down heavily on the management's ambivalent stand and the firing of the waitress. In response, the company posted a note on their social media page defending their actions. And there were 10,000 comments, mostly negative, to which the management started responding by posting the same note over and over again. There were accusations of the company deleting negative comments and blocking users. The restaurant, now, they won't care about this, but the problem is here. The restaurant also experienced a sizable drop in their footfall. What happened? How did the question go? Oh, the answer is here. All right. Close your eyes. Let me read out the question for you. Okay. Who or what, that answer key, that means okay, I'll show it to you. Doesn't matter. I edited my fault, entirely my fault. I edited the PPT in the last minute. There's some, yeah. Who is the main cause for the situation becoming unmanageable? The pastor, the root cause, the waitress for violating, the management for not taking action against the pastor, the management for giving disproportionate punishment to the waitress, or the management for removing negative comments from the social media. The root cause started with the pastor's comment, waitress's action, waitress's termination. Right? Yeah. So here the management cannot take action against the pastor, Varun. The management cannot take action against the pastor. Pastor didn't give the tip. It's not his problem. He is a customer. So the management cannot take action against the pastor. You pay a tip, you don't pay a tip, that's not. They say it is 20%, but you say 18, 10%. They cannot force you to do it. They include the service charge in your bill, which is part of your bill, so you are paying it. Right? If it is discretionary, as they say, how many of us would pay that much amount? We'll just think and we calculate, right? So here, C cannot work. Whether the pastor flouted the norms of the restaurant, he started the whole incident. So he could be held responsible. Is he responsible for the situation becoming unmanageable? Well, he didn't pay it. The management could have paid the waitress that money. But the waitress was also to be blamed because she posted it on social media. She could have complained and then, something would have happened. But the key here is by terminating her services, they made the matter public. And therefore, all this happened. When you have yourself done it first, if it had been a case of you strictly following the policy, you did not follow the policy strictly. When you do not follow the policy strictly, if you have a strict policy, you adhere to it, the whole problem was because of the double standards. The whole problem that the social media activists and people had was the double standards. So had the company followed the policy really strictly, whether it was, they didn't have double standards. The whole key was the double standards. You did something and that is not wrong as long as it's a compliment. Waitress does it in your, you could have punished her. You could have said don't do it, given her a warning. But instead, terminating her services was the wrong thing. Got it? Okay. Alright, next question. Hopefully I don't see the answer springing up. Next, the downward spiral continued for the restaurant as the management persisted in defending their actions and argued with those who criticized them. By the following week, the original post had generated over 18,000 negative comments. Got it? So now this situation got worse. Which of the following is the best way forward for the restaurant at this juncture? Put yourself in the space of into the shoes of the management. What is the way forward? How do you manage the situation? How do you cut your costs, cut your losses in this case, and get some sort of saving face in the situation? What is the face saving way out so that doesn't get worse? You don't lose footfall. Options are there. Tell me which option before we decide. This is 2 in Achidaka. Remember, this has become a social media war, which is being played in the restaurant, and it's losing. Yeah. I told you, what is the problem? Right? What is the problem? Who are the players and which one is win-win for both the players? That's how you look at it. What's the problem here? Termination of the services of the waitress. For what fault? For privacy breach. The same privacy breach you also had created, whether it's a compliment or a negative thing. Social media is angry. Social media is angry for punishing the waitress for privacy breach when you have yourself done it. So what is the solution to that? If you options are between B and C, right? Provided she apologizes. So you're saying it's C. Okay. B also says the same thing. So one is unconditionally restaurant, or unconditionally is not win-win, right? Apologize to and reinstate the waitress. Okay, fine. Then the waitress is, the punishment that you're giving is not there. It was your fault in firing her in the first place. Ask her to apologize for her breach of customer privacy and post both the apologies on the social media. So you know that, look, she has admitted her fault. Social media people are satisfied. She is reinstated. Social media people are satisfied. Management at least knows. Now all those negatives on social media will know that things are okay. Or is C better? Reinstate the waitress provided she apologizes for her breach of customer on the condition that she apologizes, and post the apology on the restaurant's social media page. B versus C. Reinstate the waitress if and only if she apologizes and post that apology on. What's the difference? What's the difference between B and C? Yeah, all are talking about posting the social. In B, it is only her apology. In C, it is only the waitress who's apologizing. In B, the restaurant is also admitting her its fault, right? And in B, management is also apologizing. In C, it's the waitress's apology only on the restaurant's social media page. All right. And in this, management is not apologizing. In C, management is not apologizing. In D, management is not apologizing. All right. E makes the matters worse. So which is better, B or C? Since the people are angry, at the management, remember, the public sympathy is for the waitress. So the restaurant should also apologize to her and then post both apologies. That the social media followers know that the restaurant apologized, the waitress apologized, both are there. Then the sympathy will now, the anti-restaurant wave will probably stop. Therefore, B is a better option. In C and D, it's only the waitress who's apologizing. Could make matters worse. Reinstate is fine, but why only she is apologizing, right? So B is our correct answer. All right, all of you agree? Last year's question. Korkai is a serene village. One question was tough. The rest were okay. With a little bit of thought you could get through. All right. Serene village nestled in a small island separated from the in many instances in DEM a lot of background information is given, not required. So you need to glean the main points out of it. Separated from the mainland by a strait that the world forgot to name. How nice. Its inhabitants are mostly fishermen. A few are cattle grazers too. A boat ride across the strait is the only mode to transport to the mainland. Budugu, the boatman. So when we came out of the hall after taking the test, we were comparing answers because we had to go in for the analysis immediately after that. Students were waiting eager. So we remembered Budugu case ka answer kya tha, is case ka answer kya tha, dosa ka case ka answer kya tha. That's how we kept that in mind, right? So here it is Budugu the boatman, ferries people, cattle and bicycles across the strait in his boat for a living. The remoteness and the lack of connection to the mainland has served him well. He's the only boatman there. So he's making have good money. He has a family of 5. His two daughters are studying in a city college and they dream of corporate jobs. His ailing mother and wife completes his family. Budugu sent his daughters to study in the city as there's only one school in Korkai run by an NGO. The NGO prepares the village's kids for higher studies. For those who can't go to the cities, the NGO teaches them about the virtues of the local way of life. Budugu is a member of the local panchayat. Now, one, he is the only boatman. Second, his daughters are studying in a city college, and there is only one school. There is no place for higher studies, so he sent his daughters to the city, and the NGO prepares the people for higher studies. They can go out, but those who can't go to the city, then they are taught the virtues of local way of life. Budugu is a member of the village panchayat that runs the village administration. Now, the second part. At Korkai, nobody remembers the local MLA or MP. Interestingly, the local MLA visited last week and informed the islanders of major changes planned for the region. Urgent construction of a bridge connecting the island to the mainland and real estate development on the island. The very thought scares us now, but she announced that the island will become a well-known ecotourism destination in the state. She stressed that the local livelihood depended on the fortunes at sea, might enjoy certainty. People might enjoy certainty in minimum wages meted out by the eco-resort owners. Nevertheless, some villagers fear that the bridge will irreversibly change their lives and livelihoods. So she announced that we're going to have a bridge. It will become an ecotourism destination. You will start doing better economically. You will have certainty in terms of wages because eco-resort owners will pay. But some villagers have some misgivings that their lives and livelihoods will change. Budugu, this is about the other villagers. What is he worried about? That the proposed bridge will leave him jobless. So he is determined to do something about him. He wants to garner effective support to get the construction of the proposed bridge delayed. Okay. Which of the following will be the most feasible, practical option for Budugu to gather effective support? Slightly tough question, subjective, but look at it. Most feasible option, something that he can do. what do you think he should do? Partner with the local NGO and campaign that the development will ruin the local way of life. Get a resolution passed by the panchayat that the bridge will ruin the local way of life. Suspend his boat services till the villagers start supporting his cause. Inform environmental experts in the nearby cities that the strait is home to fish, frogs, and turtles. Form a boat rowers association and sit on a hunger strike. Most feasible, one which he can do. Remember, feasible, practical, doable. I've already seen 4 different answers, right? B, D, A. You know, he's the only boatman, right? His main thing is ferrying people. He has a family of 5, daughters are studying abroad, but he makes good money. Why? There's a local NGO which runs a school, prepares people for higher studies. Those who can't go for higher studies, the NGO makes them, in the probably proficient in the local way of life and livelihood. Suddenly, this bridge comes up. All right. Exactly. There are a lot of that. Okay. Yeah, you can. No, what is most feasible for him? Remember, Budugu is a member of the local panchayat, which will be the most feasible for him. He can get a resolution passed by the panchayat. Local NGO can only do that much. The panchayat won't be more powerful. He is a member of the panchayat, so for him it's feasible that if he can get this done, this will be the best. Developments versus just the bridge. Developments will happen after the bridge. Bridge will be constructed. He wants the bridge to go. So remember, the problem here is the bridge from Budugu's point of view. He wants to stop the construction of the bridge. So this is talking about the developments, the ecotourism and all will happen only after the bridge is constructed. So we are looking at only construction of the bridge, and which is he wants to stop. So look at the options. Boat services, what have the poor villagers done? Right? So this would only alienate the villagers. Environmental experts, yes, this is for development, the land, real estate. But Budugu wants the bridge not to be come up. Therefore, B is the only one that talks about the bridge. After that is Boat Rowers Association, but he is the only man in that ferrying that boat, right? Didn't say anything about Boat Rowers Association. Therefore, B is the answer. So, identify the problem. What does he want to do? No bridge. So this is, the bridge will ruin the local way of life. NGO will come into it because of the local way of life. All right, and those people who are worrying their lives and livelihood will also come into it. Therefore, B is most feasible. Clear? All right, B is the answer. All right, next part. Now, Budugu is worried. Now, the local MLA is also worried about the resistance to the project. This project, like the other successful projects in nearby villages, was supposed to garner a significant amount of funding. Moreover, it would make her the face of development in the state. Perhaps would also land her a ministerial berth. Now, she has her own reasons for getting this project started. However, Budugu's activism has cast the project in a bad light among popular minds. The MLA wants to protect her pro-development image. She is pro-development, she has a pro-development image, and there are a lot of benefits that she can get from it. So, therefore, question is asking you, which is the best course of action from the MLA's point of view? Now, think of it from the MLA's point of view. Budugu is spreading all this anti-sentiments about the project. So what is the best course of action for the MLA? All right, look at the options and tell me. I'll show you the problem here again. Worried about resistance, which would have lot of benefit. She wants to protect her pro-development image. Burgu's activism has cast her in a bad light, cast the project in a bad light, and she wants to protect her pro-development image. So what should she do? So what is the problem, and accordingly find the situation. Protect her pro-development image. Burgu has put the project in a bad light. She wants to show the project in a good light. She wants to project herself in a good light. And that is pro-development image. So keeping that in mind, look at the options. Alright. Amrit and Ashwin think it's B. Let me see. A is probably more practical, but her objective is pro-development image and make her project look good. So this project is good for you. I'm pro-development. I'm doing something for the development of your area, and it is for your good. That is how you need to look at it. And then the whole decision-making process becomes easy. Yes, it is B. Otherwise, the options, if you look at the options as sensible courses of action, what would I do in the situation? You are in trouble. You are looking at the problem and only trying to look at it, then it's a little bit easier. I'm not saying much easier. Yes, key is this. It's for your own good. That's what she wants to publicize, because it's mainly the publicity and the image. So alternative is admitting defeat. Panchayat for a solution. It's not going to affect you. Change your image, right? Discredit Budugu. Why would you do that? A negative campaign rather than this. All right. And this also does. All right. This was a tough one. The options are very close. As the project gets delayed, Budugu becomes a well-known social activist with a lot of followers. When Pragati, his elder daughter, finishes her education and starts looking for jobs, a few known corporates refuse her a job because of her father's anti-development stand. I don't think they'd openly do that, but let's say she faces discrimination because of her father's anti-development stand. All right? Okay. So his daughter is being affected by his so-called anti-development stand. Which of the following best communicates to the corporates that Pragati has an identity of her own? What would communicate? What would demonstrate to the corporates that Pragati is her own person, her father is his own person? His sins should not visit her, her achievements should not be overshadowed by what or neglected or by what he is doing, or she shouldn't face discrimination because of what he is doing. How can she do that? To show that, look, I'm not responsible for his actions. I'm a person in my own right. I have my own identity. Right? Which one? Okay, why not? Let's go with each option quickly. Why not A? Why not, say that, look, my father's activism is not necessarily anti-government or anti-development. Why not? Don't misunderstand my father's activism, right? If she sends out that message on social media, why would it not work on the corporates? Or why would it work? She's still using her father to make a point. She's still using her father's work to say that how does it show her identity when you say you're sitting and defending your father's activism or condemning it or whatever. So A does not really show this. It shows you're a father's daughter, which is why you're defending your father. See, the way we look at it is the corporates have attacked my father's activism, so I should defend my father's activism. But her purpose is not to defend or negate her father's activism or support or condemn. Her key is to say, I'm a different person from my father. I have an identity of my own. I'm independent. If she does this, it's not going to show that she's an independent person with an identity of her own. So A cannot work. Stop using her last name in her job applications. The corporates who knew enough about her father, will they not know who she is just by removing her last name? Many students had gone for B, by the way, that they won't know that she is his daughter. If by just the name people just identify a person by what your father does by your name? Unless it's a name like, Fedro or no, I'm just kidding. Rahul Gandhi. We are not like the Gandhis and all. I mean, Budgu and Pragati, come on. Okay? Using her last name in the job application, if people know what her father's done and people know she is her father's daughter, not using her last name will not stop that. Right? Okay. Showcase on social media what her achievements as a person is. Discuss on social media. No. This. Okay. Start a blog and update. So is it C and say, look, I'm interested in current affairs. Is it C or E? Current affairs. Okay, your dad has nothing against or for current affairs. It shows that you are interested in current affairs, but it doesn't really show who you are. Your accolades, your awards, your achievements show who you are. So C is the answer. Right? Who am I? How do you answer the question, who am I? Most of you start by introducing yourself, then start off into what they did in college, then you talk about your extracurriculars. That's how you tell about you. Your ACADS and your extracurriculars actually, unfortunately, seem to determine who you are. Right? So I hope you got some sense of decision making, lot of common sense, but more than that, understand the problem, say it in your own words. I am looking at her own identity. Which option shows her own identity? That is what you're looking at. So the question has a key to the answer. If you understand that, a lot of your problems are saved. All right, I enjoy decision making. Only when it comes up with numbers, that's when I run away. Okay, when there are numbers, they're numbers, and unfortunately, we are poles apart. All right, All India Open Mock NMAT is still going on. Those who haven't taken it yet, your open mock is on from 14th to the 22nd. Do take it. Comprehensive CAT 2023 comprehensive program. Any of you interested, please enroll now or buy our test series. All right, and this is what we are all looking forward to. Last lap to CAT 2022. I have started preparing for it, and I hope you will all join me from 17th October, me and my colleagues, not just me taking it, from 7 p.m. every day, where we will be doing concepts, highly probable questions, section-wise score boosters, talking of a lot of things. Okay, just the last bit of preparation before you go in for CAT. Follow us on all social media channels, all right, and do attend all the sessions that we are coming up with. The next XAT session, whoever takes it, do attend. I think I managed to remove the schedule for the rest of the XAT classes. All right, I will see you all very soon in another session. Until then, take care. Goodbye. If you're taking any exams in the middle, make sure you do well. Keep calm and do your best. See you. Bye-bye.